Boom. Move! Hurry up, for the love of God!
Ring, 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 hello! Imps and merchants. Oh,
You're off.
Welcome back
You
to
can't do it.
Craft Magical.
You done goofed.
Redemption Cave. Also, Techno. How did you know?
Well. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a lovely Monday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. The weather's had a reversal, but that's all good because everyone's fucking bearish right now, which is actually rather interesting to be reading. Apparently, the new meme within this market is that September must dump. I can't count the amount of fucking posts that I've read on Twitter, on Discord, on all sorts of social media venues, namely YouTube and Reddit as well, that September must go down. Yes, that's right. The markets are cyclical, and that's how easy it is. You just have to short in September and then walk away, you know, just like May. Anyways, with that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest because we have plenty to discuss today, and we can start off with the Krown Chain application, which can be found at app.krownchain.net. And by the way, it is 100% free as well, and you can find a link in the description below. In fact, I got a very beautiful message yesterday. Hello, sir. Where can I find that Krown trading application? Just right there in the link in the description below. And there you go, sir. Anyways, what do we have going on the top end dashboard? Oh, Bitcoin dominance is quite literally dominating the whole goddamn block. No, I suspect that that's a bad read right there. We haven't had one of those in a long time. So I do need to check in with our developers for that. I'm curious what's actually going on right there. Anyways, more importantly, we do see that Fear and Greedy Deck still at the 72 read, which is more or less greedy as you would expect. And we do see that everything else is pretty much what we did see actually coming into last Friday, with the big focus, of course, with this week opening for CME. Anyways, with that in mind, do we see anything of particular interest on the top 10 best coins, top 10 worst coins? We see some more 2017 shit coins actually riding the top 10 winners. Phantom, ReVeChain, actually I don't know if ReVeChain is or not, Flow, Decentraland, Engine Coin, and Internet Computer. Yeah, that's a great name right there. Actually, pretty interesting project, just by the way, but not that I'm fucking investing myself, but rather interesting. Chili's, Horizon, and Perpetual Protocol all actually on the winners list. Losers list, a bunch of actually double-digit losers right there. Pretty much all of the ones that we saw yesterday, which is good. You know, I see Bitcoin Cash coughing up some of those gains. Perhaps that's a sign of health. Anyways, go to the market data tab, see what we got going on over here, as we do see, again, the global front rate still not anywhere that's too concerning to myself. I really want to see that, or at least it's not that I want to see it, it's just I don't make anything of that until it's about actually more about 20x from where it is right now, so that is completely inconsequential. Let me turn off the alerts right there as well. What's up, Jack? I see you, my friend. I see you, Mr. King Cosmic. We'll get to that soon enough. Anyways, global open interest is continuing to actually chug its way upwards and onwards. We do see what could be the next higher low on this. If you are bullish, that is essentially what you're looking for right now. If you're bearish, you want to actually see Bitcoin break down below about 47,000 bucks with open interest going up. If you see something like that, then that would actually be a pretty damn good sign that we will see a phenomenal bull trap. Until then, any sort of open interest coming off alongside price action coming down is just longs taking profits, which, you know, can obviously drive the market lower as well. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily expect like a macro reversal based off of that. In fact, not necessarily expecting that to begin with, to be quite honest with you, at least not at this exact moment in time. So with that in mind, let's get into the price action charts right now, because that is where all the action's going down. And what do you know? 4 hour on CME, as we spoke back coming into, I guess, Friday's closure, and now we have Monday open. Well, what do we have? We have a range. Crazy. How fucking crazy is that? But everyone's stuck on the goddamn spot price action charts, which fair enough, you know, gamble your money away on the weekends. And hey, you know, if you've been making a shit ton of money doing that, fair enough, you know, that's awesome. And to be quite fair, I mean, Bitcoin's just been playing out a range, of which we did identify over the past couple days, saying, hey, look, if you do want to trade over the weekend, here's your highs, here's your lows, have fucking at it, right? Anyways, we did just test the top side of the range. It looks like, I guess, yeah, this would be, I guess, exactly as CME opened last night, sold off on the top. So what typically happens after that? You go and test the bottoms. Not anything too crazy on top of that. And of course, we do see that this is accompanied by hidden bearish divergence in this case. So I do expect that Bitcoin very likely does test somewhere around the 55 exponential moving average on CME specifically, which is 47,300. Again, just a ranging market until proven otherwise in this case. And this is coming on declining volatility as well. So I look at this as, you know, more or less inconsequential if you're looking for like the big bad breakout, which most people typically are in my experience. But hey, understand that more often than not, about 70 to 80% of the time, the markets are ranging and consolidating, not trending actually. Anyways, with that in mind, well, it also depends what time frame you're going on, but you know, of course, the ones that actually matter for the macro trend, of course. Anyways, we go down to the lower term time frames. I'm curious if we see anything of particular interest right here as well. Oh, what do you know? The hourly 200 simple and exponential average coming in right around about that 47.3 level as well. So while I do expect that we probably test somewhere down around there, I would not be front running any sort of a reversal in this case, because you need to be aware of the higher term time frames right now, which everyone so conveniently forgets. Now, of course, I am very happy to get bearish on price action. I would love to get fucking bearish on this market, but the amount of incessant, it's like we had a reversal of very annoying boo laws. Now we have very annoying bear laws. So we had the annoying boo laws, of course, way over here. And I really haven't seen too much of it in this area over here, to be quite honest with you. It's more or less bear laws just saying, Bitcoin went $1,000 up, short it, it's going down, fuck you, 20,000, no, 15,000, 10,000, it's going lower, it's going to motherfucking zero. It's like, okay, well, that was quite a profound statement right there. I would like to see your reasoning as well, because for all that I can see right here, this is still just a daily uptrend. And guess what? This would be your proverbial next higher low right here at about 47,000 bucks. So we see that the short term and medium and higher term timeframes all aligning with about 47,000 bucks. And as long as Bitcoin is above there, I just do not have, I don't really have a technical reason to be bearish until we see a reversal on a time frame like this. And to be fair, if this does confirm as a higher low right here, which will be confirmed actually today or any time actually, if Bitcoin can just close a 4-hour dildo back above the top side of this range on a closing basis, that would be 49,000 bucks. On a wick basis, that would be basically the high of today's wick thus far, 49,510. Then I would be looking for Bitcoin to make another leg up higher before any sort of, you know, potential decent sized pullback, and let alone a fucking reversal at this point as well. Again, the trend is your friend until the end of the trend, and the trend has been your goddamn friend if you just let it fucking be ever since 29,000 bucks, or actually not necessarily 29,000 bucks over here. If you do want to go by the book, it was about 32,000 bucks or 32,500 if you want to be super exact right here. That's when things really did get going, and that's when you had it like obvious signals that this is a bear trap and it's not time to be bearish right now. So, you know, for all the people who are like bearish the whole way up right here, I just think that is completely unwarranted, and it shows that you're more not speaking towards you, but in general, it shows that that person is just biased in that direction no matter what, not necessarily looking at the actual charts itself or reading them in what I have found to be a more relatable and profitable way, actually, or more importantly, you know, a survivable way as well. Not saying that things can't turn around right here. Of course they can, but still, the areas for indecision, the areas for reversal are very obvious and very well defined at this point. And what do you know right here? If Bitcoin can confirm a local low with, again, any sort of a move back above this morning's high or a closure above about 49,000 bucks on CME, specifically on preferably a 4-hour time frame, probably do a 2-hour in this case as well, then we actually will have 1, 2, 3 drives of hidden bullish evidence on daily RSI right here as well. That'll look pretty damn good for getting Bitcoin up to the next sort of short-term target, which would be about 51,000 to 51,500 in the top end blue box right here. And then I would like to see another, you know, higher term time frame close above there, and then I'd extend targets up to the 1.272, which is between about 55 to 56,000 bucks, and that'll look pretty damn good. Now I would be expecting greater pullbacks from that region, but again, do not confuse greater pullback with a reversal. The conditions for reversal are incredibly fucking clear at this point. There is no talks of even a daily reversal as long as Bitcoin's above 47,000 bucks right here. And more importantly, if you want to go by the, or not necessarily by the book, but if you want to go by something a little bit more formidable in this case, 46,000 bucks would be the area on spot price action, although I don't think it matters as much, but that is the 200 simple right now, and boo laws do still have that, obviously. Anyways, looking at this right here, if we go over to the 12-hour, I think this starts a little bit more obvious as well. Again, short term, a bit of ranging price action, but we do see that momentum also just having a bit of a reset, and volatility supporting that argument as well, as we do see it declining over really this whole series right here, but more importantly, the short term, as Bitcoin does put in yet again another higher low right here, and we do see 12-hour Joule actually losing its downside curvature for what it's worth right now as well. Let's go check out momentum oscillators to see if they support that price action on the lower and medium term time frame, specifically hourly heading down as long as below about 48,900 or so. So again, I do think that short term Bitcoin probably does test somewhere around, you know, that low 47.3 to low 47.5, whatever it ends up being, just as long as there's no closures below there, even on a 4-hour. I'm just looking at it as another higher low, more or less. Again, I know that this is a very unsexy style of analysis and trading, but honestly, this has been getting pretty much all of the major moves, not necessarily the ultimate top or the ultimate bottom, but in this case, it keeps you in those long-term moves, which thus far we've seen a $21,000 move off the lows. So I think that kind of validates itself. Anyways, buy hourly is going to be doing what? 49,250 for the magical number right there. 4 hours going to be saying what? 47,200 or so. So that would also be synonymous with breaking that downside region, which would also obviously turn down 4-hour Stokes, which would essentially be momentum plus a break of range plus a trend reversal right there as well. If we saw volatility follow with that, which it probably does because it's very, very low right here, as you can see on the on this actually bastardized HVP right here. then we would be expecting like an actual decent sized breakdown. We can talk about targets towards that as well. But for right now, again, until that is proven or until that actually happens, I just don't see that trade, or at least I don't trade for that, personally speaking. Of course, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just trying to share things that have most importantly, like most importantly, they've wrecked me in the past, and then more importantly, they've kept me safe in the future by learning these sorts of lessons. Anyways, looking at the 12-hour right here, again, we actually did confirm a cross the upside as soon as it did open up. And I believe that spot price action is about the same as well. Yep, 48,250 is the magical number on this one. And again, this was actually playing out a trend line test going in all the way back from 17th of July or so, getting this low right here, this low right here, this low right here, and supposedly this low right here as well, if that is going to play out. But I'll go back to CME for the time being, and if we do close this next 12-hour dildo back above 48,900 or so, then that will be confirmed as well. And I suspect that the daily is probably not too far behind. Actually, it is 50,000 and 50,000 and some odd change right there. So interesting enough on that one as well. But for right now, you know, sideways still does favor the Bulaws, and we actually do see a bit of a signal going on right here, as well as, no, not necessarily right there, but that one actually has lost its downside signal forward right now as well. So I do think that, you know, again, I would be very happy to get bearish on this price action. I would love to, I personally speaking, I do like trading bear markets more than bull markets, because that's, you know, that's where like the video game comes back out. In a bull market, it's like, all right, well, I guess I just kind of ride the trend and sit on my hands, because don't really do too much other than that. Yeah, you can play some ranges here and there. To be fair, but the most boring time in the last like few years of my trading career was when Bitcoin went from 20,000 to 65,000 bucks. It was just holding for the most part. You know, I traded around my positions here and there, but for the most part, just holding. Same thing on this right here. You know, I've been holding this $33,000 long on my testnet account for the last like month and a half. I haven't had to do too much with it. My options positions, I've actually not even touched them in the last week and a half now either. You can just see that they're coming in. That's all that it is, just fucking premium right there. And this is the way that I prefer to trade as well. Just a lot more easy on the soul. Instead of trying to guess, you know, up or down, it's come up with ranges and essentially make money from Bitcoin not breaking those. And of course, they're easy to cover as well for the most part. Anyways, that's a little bit more of a complicated discussion, and I imagine that most people just want to know up or down. Well, again, until Bitcoin actually breaks below about 47,000 bucks, preferably on a 4-hour closure, which is in line with the 4-hour 55 exponential average right here as well, then I wouldn't necessarily be looking for any sort of major massive moves to the downside. With that said, if Bitcoin were to do that, I would look for a quick move down to about 45,000 bucks, very likely a bounce somewhere around 45,000 bucks. Do I believe that things would stop there? No, I do not. In that case, I would be looking for Bitcoin to eventually come all the way down somewhere around about 42,500 to 43,000 bucks, in line with the daily 55 exponential average, specifically on spot price action in this case right here. Again, until that happens though, I'm not looking for that trade to occur, and that is still pretty, you know, well and far away right now, although we do have a drive of phantom div perhaps going to populate itself on spot price action. But as I always say, on Monday and Tuesday, I do not really trust indicators or signals that I get on spot price action that are not present on CME, and we do not see the same thing present on CME for the time being right now. In fact, a little bit of the opposite for the exact moment. Anyways, going over the other higher term timeframes, I believe we have a 2-day closing today on spot, yeah, not on CME. And what does it look like right here? Again, I mean, this would actually have hidden bullish evidence if this also does confirm as a local low right here. It is not there just yet. We need sort of the same sort of criteria that we spoke about on the 4-hour time frame for CME, so you can kind of look at those as playing together in good confluence. And then also, I believe, no, the 3 days not closing night. Yeah, the 3 days not closing night, and then the 5-day is also not. But I believe that it is. No, it's also not for CME as well. Very interesting. So here's the thing. There is actually one very, 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 very good reason to be bearish right now. It's not because it's fucking September, which is absolutely ridiculous reasoning to begin with. Hey, what's up? Oh, I thought I sent him right there. Hey, what's up, Jeff? Sorry, I can't get frustrated enough at ideas like that enough, because it's bullshit in my experience. You know, it's the same thing as people saying that, you know, January or February or whatever it was is always bullish for Bitcoin. It's like Bitcoin's more or less more often than not in an upwards market than it is in a downwards market. You know, that's why that works out. Anyways, more importantly, the reason why I'm not necessarily, or the reason why I could get very bearish in September or this coming, you know, next week or two here is not because it's fucking September. It's not because of anything else other than this, other than perhaps the most important thing on the charts right now for bears. And that is this. Your trend, we do have a lower low on the weekly here for Bitcoin, and that does actually matter. We haven't seen a trend reversal on Bitcoin ever since realistically March 2020. March 2020 is when Bitcoin put in the lows over here and started actually putting in an uptrend on the weekly. Before that, it was down the whole way through from July to essentially March. So that's, quite some time. By the way, that's July 2019 to March 2020. So quite some time once again. And the time before that was all the way from December to July, December of 2018 to July of 2019. So understand how long these can typically go on for. And right now, while we do have one of the etchings of a trend reversal on the weekly, which is perhaps the most important time frame for Bitcoin, at least in my opinion, if you're going off a macro trend, we actually do have that lower low below our January lows over here. So in the way that I look at this, we have high, we have lower low, and this could potentially be our next lower high. It would be the exact same thing as what we looked at in April and May over here. Remember, I was bullish this whole way through. Again, that's just my rules. As long as we're in an uptrend, I am going to be, more or less angled towards the upside. It wasn't until this price action right here on the 25th of April where Bitcoin actually came down, made a lower low than what we saw on the 25th of March, where I said, hey, okay, we have something new going on. The daily has made a lower low for the first time in a very long time. It's time to be on lower high watch, of which we did get a few weeks later on 8th of May right here. And that's when we said, hey, this thing, is going to go down very, very likely. And so we're kind of doing the same thing right now as well. And by the way, just as an aside right here, you will notice that this price action, let me just pull up a fresh chart. I believe this one is fresh, at least hopefully so. Yeah, okay, this one's fine enough. We did see the lower high on this price action right here being put in right around the 618 Fibonacci retracement, on a bearish retracement, that is. Well, if we were to put this on a weekly and look at our current price action right now, we actually are, well, right around the 618 as well. I mean, we're a little bit above it, yes, but so was this one ever so slightly. And that kind of is your traditional bear trap-ish zones, or sorry, bull trap-ish zone, which is also another thing that fucking grinds my gear, because for whatever reason, people don't, or not, I wouldn't say people, but there seems to be like, there seems to be some misunderstanding of what a bull and bear trap is. Bull traps trap bulls. Bear traps traps bears. In case you can't, remember that, that's a good little way to always be able to recall it. Because for whatever reason, people like, I always get comments like, Krown, you said it could be a bull trap, but it's going down. It's like, what the fuck? Krown, you said it's a bear trap, but it's going up. It's like, yes, that's what that means. It's funny, man. Anyways, you can't take shit like that personally, but this would be the biggest bearish thing for myself. And so how would you confirm a local high and a weekly on this sort of schedule right here? Well, again, until the daily even reverses, there's no sort of talks like that on a weekly. If you go back to a dildo format, how would you look at this as a local high? You could say that if it takes up the prior weekly low, that would look pretty damn bad, as this is a doji dildo at the top, a signal of indecision, perhaps reversal. And I would really say in this case, while taking out the prior week's low, which is about 46,300 or so, would definitely look bad. I would be a little bit more on the hesitant side to fully go with that, meaning that I want to see a closure below there. Maybe don't have to wait for the weekly, but perhaps even a 3-day would do it for myself below about $46,000. And then, yeah, the weekly is going to start to look like it is reversing. And at that point, we actually do have a very legitimate case for the bear odds here, at least for another move down to, like I said, about 42,000 to 42,500-ish region. But after the bounce there, that'll be very, very telling to see if Bitcoin actually does put in a weekly higher low or not, of which we do technically have, all the way down to about 33,000 or so. But with that in mind, this week and this month should be very telling, because, well, I suspect that price action can't go too much longer sideways without actually having a mega move outside of the range, a range that actually matters. But even just looking at this from a volume profile perspective, you can see this is setting up for, quite the move right here. Well, let me get rid of this. We are right at this high value node right here. And if Bitcoin does break to the upside, again, I would be looking for maybe a short-term pullback somewhere around about 51,500 or so. But ultimately, I'd be looking somewhere around about 56,000 right here to $55,000. And to the downside, you can see, it's pretty much all air down to about 42,500. Also, that last swing high on this mega breakout from about $40,000 to $50,000 right here. So you can see that there's, a lot of edge on both sides. And I suspect that people who are kind of like front running a trend reversal right here, hey, fair enough, more power to you, but you might want to consider such things, because it has looked that way several times. And that's something that I do notice about the people who have been a little bit more incessantly bearish. It's like, no matter what, it's bearish. It's like the higher that it goes, it's bearish, which again, you have to understand that I'm speaking as someone who enjoys being bearish. I would rather trade a bear market. It is typically more profitable, to be fair, but more importantly, there's a time and place to actually look for those things. And you know, when you start to run into people with just like these incessant biases, it's hard to trust, especially when like every fucking move to the upside here has been they've been trying to fade, which is an interesting way to make a living. Not very profitable in my experience, for what it's worth. Anyways, I also see this bullshit as well, where people are drawing like some sort of a rising wedge on this. Rising wedges actually have a terrible hit rate, just so you know. Low 30% in a downwards market, and like mid 20% in an upwards market. And we are in an upwards market right now on the daily specifically. First off, this barely even is a wedge to begin with, so you don't even want it to be that. But if it's anything, it's going to be something resembling a channel. Both of them do have bearish implications, obviously, but you'd be looking at something like this. And the reason why I'm plotting this out right now is because you could make a measure move on this, something to this effect right here, which would be essentially implying a move on an actual break to, guess where, about $43,000. So very, 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 very close to that next targeted downside region, which I imagine we probably get some wicks down at that point anyways. So with all of that in mind, I am going to delete this. I'm going to get rid of that as well. Let's just get rid of that. Okay, goodbye. And is there anything else that I want to speak about before we get into the chatties here? Maybe is there anything on the secondary charts right here? Again, CME. I mean, more or less the same shit, right at the same area. I mean, just still bouncing off the 9 exponential average right there as well. Anything else that we can see right here, maybe on a weekly, or I think we did close a bi-weekly yesterday. Yes, that's actually something that I would like to check out. Bi-weekly closure, is that bullish or bearish? Not necessarily too bad right there, but what I would say about this, let me actually put this one on log scale. It's going to make more sense. What I would say about this is that we do see something actually rather powerful right here. The last bi-weekly low is about $44,000. Why is that significant? That's actually where the 20 simple and the 9 exponential average on this time frame are rising up to as well. And if you are playing this as the bull trap happening right here, what you'd be looking for is over the next 2 weeks, this will come down essentially. And the reason why I say that is because if you are looking at the bi-weekly MACD cross the downside, which we'll go over just ever so briefly right now, you'd be looking at this area right here, this area right here, this area right here, and this one all the way back on over here as well in 2014. And that was this area right here, this area right here, and this area once again right here, as you can see. So what's important about that is once we actually started to break down below the 9 exponential average again, that's when Bitcoin really did put in like the actual bull trap move. I'm talking about this precipitating a 74% move to the downside, not anything to laugh at. This one over here about a 67.25% move to the downside, and this one over here about a wick basis about 60%, on a closing base about 48.25%. Again, I do think that the fundamentals right now, namely the hash ribbons indicator, do supersede what this could be over here. But again, another very easy way to be documenting this, and again, until we start to hit those levels, I just think that front running a major reversal like that is not the most wisest decision. Again, you can ask all the people who have been trying to front run that whole reversal basically ever since like fucking $33,000 over here, which is rather interesting. Anyways, so I am going to get on the chats right now, and I'm going to turn on the alerts right here, and let's see what we got going on. Holy fucking moly, man. It looks like things are flying in right now, so this should be a fun day. What's up, Jack Assman? There he is. All right, Sol USD, short and medium term. Oh my lord, that is loud. Let me just turn that down right there. Okay, nice one. And let's see. Okay, Solana, Sol, the sun. We got Sol. And you're looking at short and medium term. Okay, got it. I do want to do a general overview of this one, so we'll just we'll go through the whole rigmarole right here, actually. All right, and I'm going to record this one as well. Here we have Solana, symbol SOL, versus the dollar. This one being requested by Mr. Jack Assman of our lovely community. He's looking at, we're just going to look at all time frames, actually. Anyways, first and foremost, did we hit our $100 target? Holy shit! We hit the $100 target, and a little bit of a sell-off off of that lovely, very round and even psychological number, as you would expect. But is that the end of the rally? Is this all done? Is it over for forever? Well, in this case right here, because it is trending, I will bring it over to my secondary charts. Let's see what we're doing on this exact schedule. In fact, the daily selling off the top side trailing band thus far, not a humongous issue, at least in my opinion just yet. I wouldn't be too concerned about this one until it actually goes back down below about 84 and a half in this case. We do see daily MACD still rising to the heavens, and I imagine that the weekly probably closed above the top side trailing band. In fact, it did. So if this one does want to have a move down and test around around 84.5 to $85. I think that would actually be an opportunity on first pass. The way that I look at this, especially from a weekly perspective, is that as long as this one is closing above the top side trend band, I look at it as still very, very likely to continue with current trend, in this case to the upside, with our general targets still in mind, of which we can plot out ever so briefly right here. We are at the 2-spot extension right there. Okay, again, you know, selling off on that is to be expected, but the next ones, if it starts to break out once again, are going to be in the 120, maybe even as much as 140 before the next sort of decent sized pullback. Again, I don't think it's like breaking out today, to be fair, and typically speaking, you will test the topside trend band after breaking out of it, you know, on a week-to-week basis. You can see that all of these have in the past right here, all these have right here, and even all of these have right here as well. And again, this, you know, can go on for quite some time. You see that this one did lead up all the way from January of 2021 and didn't even lose the topside trend band until going for over 1,000% to May, which is just fucking insane. And we're just kind of getting started over here as well. So with that in mind, this is also coming alongside increasing MACD. And what's important about this MACD histogram right here is that we're actually making new highs on the histogram as well. So that is supported. If it was making lower highs on histogram, that would be bad. It means that you have less momentum supporting this, right? Or that's a bad way of you know, phrasing it, but basically less momentum on a new all-time high move. That's typically your divergence play. Anyways, go on over here and see if we see any sort of potential divergence signals going on right now. Daily RSI, it will be creating some bearish divergence at some point. Yes, no doubt about that. But for right now, do we have a local high in? No. How do we create a local high? Well, in this case, if we were to do it today, we'd have to come back down below about $90. And then I'd be looking for a move probably down around to that $80 to $85 target or so. But for right now, looking, I don't know, more or less fine as far as, as far as this one looks. 5 days continuation as well. So I expect that this one does drive for another new all-time high run before pulling back in a more aggressive manner on a higher term time frame. I know that sounds crazy on a chart that looks like this, but again, it's, in my experience, not too wise to be front running a reversal until it happens. Daily Stokes still up there, again, in the critical zone. That is good, actually, or at least I don't look at this as, concerning until it comes back down below the critical zone. Where does that change around? $91.5 right there. And actually this daily indicator right here, which is a secret indicator right now, is also printing a bit of a signal as well. So I do like that, at least for the time being. I imagine that 4-hour time frame is a bit of a reset. Yes, indeed. 4-hour Stokes coming down will turn back up with any sort of a closure above 97.5. So with that in mind, let's see if we can come up with some short-term time frame ranges right here. And holy shit, man, this one like moves so fast. It's like I don't even have enough targets in there. All right, so here's your last daily low. This is just a continuation right here. I don't think that there's anything too concerning. 4-hour RSI is fine. Not anything too concerning right there as well. I'm sure someone's going to call that bearish divergence. It's not. You don't have a local fucking high. Jesus Christ. But more importantly, if this one does start to pull back down below about $90, not $90, kind of like the line in the sand for the short-term time frames. Bless you, sir. Bless you again, sir. But shut up. Anyways. At that point, I would be looking for that move down to like the mid to low $80 region. But for right now, still trending to the upside, and I would expect continuation here, probably sometime this week, 2 new highs, and then come back to it after that. We even have a drive of phantom hidden divergence for 12-hour right here as well, rather powerful. So I imagine that it probably does make one more leg up, maybe tests around like a 110 or so, and then comes back down perhaps. Overall, still one of the best charts in cryptocurrency land, if not the best chart in cryptocurrency land. Monthly going to be closing, of course, on what is it? When is the monthly close? Monthly closes on Tuesday evening, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. There's nothing bearish about this monthly at all whatsoever, and I'd be looking for new all-time highs into September if it closes anywhere above $80, especially anywhere above $80. I would be looking for new all-time highs in September. Specifically, we can even look at it over here as well, and I'm sure that it is. Yeah, it doesn't even have enough to populate the Bollinger Bands on the monthly. So there you go, man. Very, 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 very powerful chart. And again, I'm just hesitant to get bearish on something that looks like this for what it's worth. Hopefully that was helpful. There you go, sir. All right. King Cosmic says, hello, hello, sir. Beanie Scott Barney, you did it, baby. You fucking did it. Spy, please, hourly and daily. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Where's my spires over here? Here we go. 4509. Oh my God. It's still going up. How crazy is this? Said all-time highs coming into this week. And what do we get? Some more all-time highs. More all-time highs for you. More all-time highs for me. Another bullish engulfing dildo on Friday's closure. And what do you know? New all-time highs plus some phantom hidden divergence over here as well. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Again, I do think that we are setting up for a 20% correction. I suspect probably sometime around October to November, if I had to guess right now. But you know, it's based off this weekly, I'd be looking for more up before that happens. Hourly is just continuation right here. Can this thing come back down to 4,500 even? Yes, no problem with that. Could even come all the way back down to 4,490. I don't have any strong proclivities with that. If anything, I'm looking actually for continuation from this level right here. It's a nice little breakout out of this region. I suspect that this is coming off the backs of Jay Powell's talk on Friday, and daily even has some hidden bullish evidence, some phantom style right there as well. So I would be looking for more up first, and then perhaps a pullback. Where could we have some short-term targets at? Perhaps actually 45.11 is a little bit of a short-term pullback region. I think we're grinding up that right now, but more longer term, still looking at, you know, 45.50 to maybe even 4600. I think. Where is my very, very long term? Hey, can you shut up for real? Sorry. What? Can you say it? Fair enough. Well, it perhaps might not be for you, sir. You can always just leave and be somewhere else in the internet, which is a very vast space. Anyways, still long term, probably looking at like, I still think probably $5,000 before this one actually reverses. Kind of crazy, but like I said, probably looking at a 20% correction a little bit later this year. Getting close, getting closer and closer. But man, that thing is just, this doesn't fucking stop. The market that never goes down. Where would I actually get bearish on this thing if this were to reverse like today? Below about 44.65. I don't think it happens today. I don't think it's happening maybe even this week, but that would be my conditions for that. Anyways, Dennis Stone says Ethereum USD on the 4-hour daily weekly, please. Sir, thank you very much. No problem, man. Let's go check out this one, and let's record this one as well. Where are we? 31.74. There we go. All right, Ethereum. Let's record this one here. Here we have Ethereum versus the dollar on the 4-hour daily and weekly, being requested by Mr. Dennis Stone of our lovely community. Anyways, what do we have going on right here? Well, we have yet again another ascending triangle in the context of these nice rising bottoms right here. Same tops. So if we were to chart this one out, we don't even need these right here, although those are relevant for the short-term time frames, which we will get to soon enough. You'd be looking at something like this, which is an ascending triangle, a bullish reaccumulation formation. It just means that it has a higher probability breaking out to the upside versus the downside. In this case, you can make a measure move, which would be pointed up somewhere around about 3650 to 3700 or so on a breakout of the topside resistance. That would be about 3350 on a closing basis. Probably can do that on a 12-hour, maybe even on a 4-hour as well. But on a wick basis, anywhere above your 23rd of August high at 33.80 and 30 cents. Looking at a 4-hour right here, yeah, I do think that you actually could use a 4-hour closure above that region without any major issues. But short term, does it come back down and test around this rising trend line at about 3100 even or so? Probably yes. However, until we actually break below the prior daily low, I would say the same thing as Bitcoin. I'm not in any like rush to get bearish until we actually have a reversal in place, and we don't necessarily have that right now. If anything, what do we have? We do have volatility on the ground, so we probably are looking at a major move coming up this week. If it does come to the downside, I mean, it will be a move all the way very likely down to the 55 at about 2850 to 2900 or so. You know, that is, you know, about a well, I guess not necessarily, yeah, actually about a 10% move from this region, doing some bad mental math. If we go over to a 5-day and a weekly, of which we did disclose a weekly last night, 5-day is a little bit under pressure right here. If we do take out the last 5-day low, which is 30.56, that looked pretty damn bad. Especially closing below there. So perhaps the short-term time frames, do they come down around there? Yeah, 3100 is what I did say. So anywhere around there is fine. Breaking below there, we do have confluence with an actual breakdown and, you know, reversal in progress from that level. There will be bounces along the way. Obviously, you know, an obvious one right here would be about $3,000 even, in line with this last low at about 19th of August, and also the 4-hour 200 simple and 200 exponential average as well. But other than that, you know, sideways within a range short term, and the range is, well, highs at about 33.50 and lows, if you are bullish, at around 3100. If you're bearish, well, you want to see it break about 30.60 right there, especially on a closure, would look pretty damn bad for this one. Weekly, of course, closed last night as well. And what does this look like for right now? Still got those rising wicks, which is not necessarily the worst signature in my experience, but what I really want to be looking at this one is the higher term time frame closures right here. We are, of course, nearing the end of August, and we're getting into September. So if this one does close above the topside Toronto band, then I would be looking for very likely a retest of prior all-time highs, probably sometime in September, maybe October, and very likely new all-time highs before the end of year. In this case, where is our top end Toronto band? 31.69, which is currently $5 above. So obviously, a lot can change in the next like 24 hours or so, as this will close tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But if it does close above that region, we'd also see MACD histogram increasing as well in the monthly, alongside, you know, trending and volatility indicators suggesting more upside as well. So this would look pretty damn good for myself. at least for myself. And again, the areas for, changing up and reversing on these opinions are pretty damn obvious here, similar to what we looked at on Solana, similar to what we looked at on Bitcoin. But we can go check out momentum oscillators on Ethereum as well. 4-hour timeframes, again, downside angled short term. I do think it probably tests a little bit more downside. 12-hour, what are we looking like right here? 32.28 is magical number on this one. Not looking too hot on that. And daily will be crossing back up to the upside with any sort of closure above 32.87 as well. So probably not happening on that tick today as well. But if we do go over to the weekly, I'm curious where we're at. Yeah, 21.65. Again, still kind of riding above everything. So I don't really have like a major problem with that just yet. And 5 days way the fuck up there too. So if this one does turn around, it will be nasty. Obviously, similar as Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts to break back down below that last higher low, I'd imagine Ethereum does as well. And you probably do see a nice move, like I said, to about 28.50 or so. But for right now, I still go with the trend until proven otherwise on this one. And short-term timeframes are just quite literally a range, a little bit of hidden bearish evidence right here. So I do again believe that we will test the downside of that right now, or probably sometime today. But the question is, does it close below here? Does it close below here and take out that last higher low? If it does, hey, then we got a bit of a reversal going on. It's time to get a little bit more medium-term bearish. Until then, though, I do hesitate. And if we go over to the 2-day, still just holding up above all major moving averages. And actually the 2-day, which closes tonight, could potentially confirm hidden bullish evidence if it does confirm this as a local low, which it is probably not going to do today, actually. If it does pop back up above this current 2-day high at about 32.89 on, in the next 48 hours after this closure, then yes, it will. Again, I think it's just going to be easier to watch the monthly anyways. If the monthly closes below that level, however, I would be neutral coming into September with maybe a little bit more leaning towards the bearish side for right now. But, as it stands, same thing as Bitcoin, reversal is obviously possible right here, but still a little bit far away. And the areas for that sort of criteria being met are incredibly well defined. So making it nice and easy on this coming week for actual breakout traders if you do want to be. And again, we very likely are looking at a breakout with volatility on the floor like that. So there you go. Hopefully that was helpful, sir. Nice little Ethereum right there. Blockchain Barber says, hello, sir. What's up, man? KSM Kusama? Okay, Kusama. Yeah, all right. We can look at Kusama. Here we go on Binance, and you're looking at a 6-hour and daily new parachain auctions on August 31st. So tomorrow. Well, if you typically have an event, usually going to be a sell the event type of thing. But well, let's look at it right here. Definitely a laggard. Definitely not a strong entry in for what we've seen today. This one operating in a much lower posture than most other things. So if Bitcoin does turn around, this thing's going to get absolutely fucking hammered, as you likely know. I don't even think that major moving averages are very helpful right here, to be quite honest with you. They kind of just get in the way because this one's sloppy. Let's see do I have any trend lines on this one. I suspect I do, but this is not relevant towards our current time frame. Let's go over the daily right now, as you did ask for, and I believe the 6 hours what you said as well. Got a bit of an obvious range going on right here. Above yesterday's high, actually would be bullish for a breakout. This one can actually run quite a fair bit. I would be looking for a decent move up to about $400 if that were to hold. Of course, below this higher low right here at about 275 or so, then yes, I would be looking for this one to have a big reversal. Again, you're probably going to see that, in line with Bitcoin reversing as well below about 47. And I'd be looking for big bad moves down to 240 after that, with that in mind. Daily RSI more in a neutral to slightly bullish posturing if you care. 6 hour right here does look more or less like a range, even some phantom, actually some potential phantom div right there if it can close above, let's say about 303, 304 region. That'll look okay for the short term. Again, just a bit of a range going on right here, so I don't look at this as anything too interesting, to be honest with you. Other than that, I don't think that there's, I mean, sideways is the name of the game right here, and as long as the higher lows do hold at 280, well, fine. And below there, problems, big problems. But for right now, it's okay, and you kind of give it the benefit of the doubt in line with the rest of the market. But this one definitely a laggard. So if Bitcoin does turn around, you can expect this one to get hit relatively more hard. Looking at a weekly, which obviously closed yesterday. Not really giving me too much right here. We did have a bit of a doji diddle, on the last weekly closure. So anywhere above or anywhere below the top side and bottom side of wick, you can probably do a continuation play, although that's not my favorite way of doing it. But sometimes it can give you some nice rewards. So in this case, that would actually extend the upside targets, not just 400, but more like to about 440 or so. To the downside, you'd be looking at moves probably down to like 200 or so. But for right now, you give it the benefit of the doubt, or at least I do. And And again, reversal below about 275 in this case. All right, there we go. Leet Slip says, how about BBIG? Any hopium in stock yet? I think we went over this one last week, and there was very little hopium to be given out, if I recall properly. No, this one did have some hopium, I guess. Yeah, this one did. Okay, yeah, I remember this one. Sorry, I misspoke right there. I was probably thinking of like a Scott Carney one. But looking at this one right here, remember, this one did have the higher lows. Specifically on the daily and weekly, yes. And, you know, this is why I have those rules. It didn't look too good last week, but hey, there you go. Massive girthy green dildo on volume. This one very likely does trade higher from this region. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one tag up somewhere around about 740 to 750 over probably sometime in September as well. This is actually pretty damn good right here. Again, hidden bullish evidence come off that last low as well. This one can run quite a fair bit from this region. Just give it some time. Short term, you know, I'd be looking for another move somewhere right around about 550 or so. Breakout above there, perhaps on a daily closure. Yeah, I would be looking at that as well. You can see very obviously right here that is coming in right around your last rejective high. Actually, more like $5.5 right there. And again, this is done on volume. All momentum oscillators are pointed northwards right now. Even volatility is getting up there as well. So we got volatility, trend, momentum. This is, you know, very likely to trade higher from here over the next month, barring any sort of like, you know, massive catastrophic event between now and basically 1st of September. So looking good right there, actually. Looking good for a bit more hopium. Long term, I hate chart like I don't like charts like this, but you know, it has some hopium there. Chris DeLisa, what's up, man? Grand morning, Dr. Krown, sir. Hey, that's me. Good morning to you as well, sir. XRP weekly. Okay, let's see. Where's that XRP weekly? Yeah, let's record this one as well. The Ripple army is rolls deep. Yeah, another interesting chart right here. All right, let's redo this one for you. You're looking at a weekly. We'll just do a general overview. Here we have Ripple symbol XRP versus the dollar. This will be requested by Mr. Chris DeLisa. And what are we looking at right here on the short-term time frames? Well, first and foremost, we got an obvious range going on yet again. It's so crazy how this typically does work out. A little bit of hidden bearish divergence on that last high right here. So I would be looking for short-term, a little bit of downside angle. But with that in mind, we got a pretty obvious range going on. Anywhere down around about 107 to 110 is where I'd be looking towards, and that would be in line with the other lows. Not necessarily a higher low, but in line with the other lows, which I imagine, is that going to look anything different on a daily? Yeah, it will. Daily 21 coming in right around about $1.10 as well. So as long as you do hold up above there, I actually would give this one the benefit of the doubt. However, you are very likely looking at a big move probably this coming week. We do see BBWP pretty fucking low here as well. It is still trending to the downside, however, so maybe not maybe not today or tomorrow, but likely like Thursday or Friday. But as long as as long as 110 does hold, I'm not bearish on this thing, even though it is kind of sloppy sideways here. I would be looking for a bounce off there, and then very likely a short-term move back around 120 if this one is going to turn out to be bullish. That also implies if this thing does start to break down below 110, that's your first big warning signal. And then of course the last hopium signal for this one is below your last higher low, which is let me just see. Yeah, 107 even, actually 107 even. Below there, I would have some pretty nasty downside targets. First target would be about 95 to 96 cents, very likely a bounce there, and then come back to it after that. Weekly close yesterday, obviously. Am I getting much off this? Potential reversal going on right here. You do see a potential 3 black crows pattern going on right now, which is not a racist term. It's just a pattern going on right here. And you see the first one, second one. And if you see the third one, take out the low side of the last weekly dildo, which is 105, which is even below that last daily low. Then yes, I would be calling this a reversal. And you're not just going to see a move down to like 95 cent. You probably see a bounce somewhere around 95 cent, but continuation down to about 89 cent and potentially lower over time to 70. Again, well and far away right now. And we do have to keep in mind that the monthly closure is coming. Monthly is not bearish in its current posturing. Monthly RSI is still above the exponential in this case. This is actually looking fine from a monthly RSI perspective as of right now. Again, another day and a half left to go, so a lot can happen, a lot can change right there. Let's see what momentum oscillators say on this one as well. And we got right now, what are we looking at? What are we looking like on the weekly right here? Again, still upside angle as long as above 62.5 cents or so, so looking good, but that's not too relevant towards our current price action. Daily actually directly aligns with that short-term pivot to the upside at 120. So any sort of a daily closure or even a 4-hour closure above 120, I would be looking for this one to travel back up to the highs of this rally, very likely somewhere back around about $1.25 or so, and very likely set up for a move and breakout to the upside into September. Again, I know that a lot of people are bearish in September because September is bad or whatever the fuck. Look, I think that that's becoming like the next meme, to be quite honest with you, and I'll shoot you very, very straight on this. I suspect that a lot of the people saying that have very little experience, and it just doesn't, there's nothing that really stands out about that just yet. Until we get these reversals, I do think that it's very unwise to be bearish on this price action. And again, for this one, I'd be happy to get bearish on it, but that is below 107 on a daily. Even even this indicator over here is actually suggesting a little bit of a fresh upside signal as well. So I'd give it, I'd still give it the benefit of the doubt right here. I think that people are really getting a little bit too gung ho about this price action before anything's actually happened. Again, doesn't mean that it can't happen. It's just, Jesus Christ, like, let's let it actually reverse first. It's the same thing as like all the incessant boulahs buying every goddamn down, over here. It's the same thing for the barrels on this move to the upside right here. But yeah, 107 is the base point for this one. Below there, very, very bad. Until that happens, though, just looking for some sideways and probably an upside resolution in line with the rest of the market. Into September. September bad, but why? Tell me why. Anyways, fair enough. Hopefully that was helpful there for the XRP army. And there you go. All right, cool. Pepperoni face. Hello, sir. Hi, Krown. Could you have a look at XAVA? Okay. I'm not familiar with this ticker. This is Avalanche. Okay, clever. Very clever. You're looking at a higher time frame. Is there a higher time frame on something like this? Sir, this thing's been around for like 2 months since June. There is no higher time frames on this. Or at least a relatively higher term time frame on this one's going to be like a 4 hour. I don't have an opinion on a chart like this, really. If I was to give you the obvious, here is where it obviously starts to turn below bearish at $3 or so. Until then, just a bit of a sideways market right here. This is more of a, more of a bullish reset than not. Again, volatility on the ground throughout this whole consolidation right here. Your consolidation range is actually rather obvious. Anywhere above your 28th of August high, probably would be looking for another retest of the highs at $5 or so. 4 hour RSI's neutral, not really give me too much right there. Other than that, though, man, I can't really give you long-term analysis on this one. I don't have an opinion on this one long-term. So the healthy amount, or the proper response of a healthy amount of I do not know, and also I don't really know what a high-term time frame means for you. Just as an aside, like if you are going to request something, it would be a lot more specific. It would be a lot more specific to you personally if you give out a time frame alongside that, because different things mean different things to different people. For what it's worth, on that one, there is no, in my opinion, there's no higher term time frame analysis to be done. I mean, it's been around for 2 months. It's like, what are you gonna do? Anyways, hopefully that was helpful, but I suspect that was rather simple. Dan K says, can you run a bearish retrace from 2017 high to lows? 1618 is current low, 2618 is current highs, 3618 is all-time high. Play into rhetoric for dump here. First off, I don't necessarily, this would be so much better if you just send me a fucking chart. Okay, let me see if I can even understand what you're saying. Can you run a bearish retracement from 2017 high to lows? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I understand that. I'm going to run a bearish retracement, so I'm going to start with this high. I'm going to go to this low. All right. Okay. And you're saying what? 1618 is current low. Is it? Our current low over here? No, it'd actually be the 1272. So first off, that's wrong. Here's probably what you're doing, though, is you probably have this on not on log scale. I do. Yeah, that's very likely what you're doing. It should be on log scale if you're going to be going this far out. You should not be on linear scale, because this is moving in fucking X's at this point. We actually had a really good conversation, I think, with Mr. Tom of the Discord a few days ago, and he was asking, when do you use log, when do you use linear? Well, in this case right here, use log, because obviously, we're looking at price action that goes from 3,000 to 65,000 bucks. It's, use linear when things are more like moving in percentage points, not necessarily X's. When you start to get into X's, especially to that degree, when we're looking at a from top to bottom 1700% move, you use fucking logs. So in that case, well, whatever. I'm arguing minutia here. So it's shame on me, honestly, Dan. Shame on me. I apologize for that. 2618 is current highs. 3618 is all-time highs. Playing to rhetoric for dump here. I don't understand what the where you're getting that next one from, to be honest with you. I don't. Maybe you're going off like this prior one over here and then relating that to that. I mean, that could be interesting, but we topped out at what? We topped out at the 2414. Have we topped out at the 2414 right here? No. So I mean, if you're going to use that logic, then Bitcoin needs to move up to 200,000 bucks. I don't even think that's fucking happening. So I don't know exactly what you mean by that. I'd have to see a chart of what you're saying, because my stupid brain is either misunderstanding or misinterpreting what you're trying to look at right there. So I do apologize, but I don't. Again, my best case scenario for bears is just weekly trend, which is probably the most important and most powerful thing, anyways. Alstrom says, howdy, sirs. Vet USD 4 hour daily. Sure. All right, we can record this one as well. Man, Vet is like strangely very popular. I wonder why. Very similar chart to XRP right here. Very, very similar, in fact. Okay, here we go. Here we have VET VeChain versus the dollar being requested by Mr. Alistrom. He's looking at a 4 hour and daily. We can definitely do a general overview on this one. Very similar chart to a lot of the other ones that we looked at today. A little bit on the weaker side for the short term. Where's your last daily high or low? Right around 1160. And as long as it's above there, I look at this as okay. You know, I still go with the former trend until proven otherwise. But in this case right here, it is definitely a bit of a laggard, and it is a bit on the weaker side. Short term timeframes, if we do look at it, we got a bit, we do have a bit of a range going on. Where's your last lows? Coming in right around 11 and a half cent right here. So as long as you're above, as long as you're above there, I do look at this as more than likely to continue with current trend in this case. That would imply an upside resolution, but that also implies any sort of a closure below about 11 and a half cent. I would be looking for some big bad moves to the downside, very likely back down around 10 cent, maybe down to about 9.5 cents. Very likely a bounce there, maybe even continuation on top of that. But for right now, again, I do give it the benefit of the doubt. Momentum oscillators say what? Short-term down, hidden bearish evidence right there. So it probably does test around 11.5 cent. I just want to see if there's a break there. And volatility is, again, declining right here, actually even at 0 percentile right now, or just above 0 percentile, actually 0.40 percentile right there. So incredibly low. So I do look at this again as a very mature consolidation, and when you are kind of testing around the lows on a volatility reading like that, again, I still do go with the former until proven otherwise. Looking at it daily, do we see anything of particular obviousness? Not really, no. If it does put in another low right here, we won't even have some hidden bullish evidence, so that'd be a bit more on the other side as well. Even the daily BBWP is down in single digits, 1.59 percentile. So this one is setting up for a move probably later this week. I wouldn't necessarily say it's likely today, but you got your ranges right here. And in this case, where it actually get bullish on this one, I do think that you could move down the resolution point to the upside towards the last little rejective high that you saw on the 20th of August, which would be just below 13 cents, about 12.85 or so. Above there, yes, I would be looking for another retest of the highs in this rally, and then very likely an upside resolution into September, with targets up somewhere around your May breakdown points from way back on over here. That'll be about 16 cents and perhaps beyond. But for right now, a laggard. So if Bitcoin does turn down, which is very possible, obviously, then this one is going to get hit a lot more hard. And long term, I'd probably be looking for moves down to like 8 cents or so. Again, I would still run with the current assumption until proven otherwise, but does actually need to kind of break out this week, in my opinion. Monthly, again, coming into the monthly close, definitely not as strong as some of the other ones, but we do see monthly RSI getting back into the bullish control zone. That'd be a good signal among other things. Weekly, yeah, not really getting much from here. 5-day looks a little bit nasty. In fact, 5-day does have potential hidden bearish divergence, some major ones here too. In fact, we should check out if Bitcoin does as well. Perhaps that could edge my bearishness a little bit more. But for right now, again, how would you confirm that? Below about 11.5 cent specifically. If we can go over here to momentum oscillator to see if there's anything of particular interest right now for the short-term timeframes to give us more of a bias there in line with that 4-hour hidden bearish divergence. Yep, we do see 4-hour Stokes down as long as below 12.28 or so. And yeah, actually looking nice and short term down. Let's see how things bounce around about 11.5 to 11 cents even. If we do start to see bounces around there, that would be the first sort of good signal. But we need to then see the top side of the range getting taken out before looking for any sort of like an actual breakout trade. In this case, daily is going to be in line with the top side resistance as well on the medium term timeframes at 12.75, which was, I believe, the top side of this area right here. Yep, right there. So beautiful. If I almost said Bitcoin, if VET starts to pop back above about 12.75, 12.80 or so, that would look pretty damn good. Again, I'd be looking for another retest of the highs of this rally, and then very likely continuation of like 16, 17 cents or so. Hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for the VeChain communities. Ilya, there he is. What's up, man? Good evening, my friend. What's up, man? Perhaps some koala charts. You want to check out some koala charts? I need to go pop in. This is actually kind of cool, man. Okay, so NFTs now have fucking charts. This is kind of crazy. This is actually a chart of the Koala Intelligence Agency, one of the NFTs that I actually have myself. Which is I actually quite like it. It's pretty fun. Once Elsa found out that that the koalas actually support like real wildlife koalas, you know, like some of the profits go towards saving the koalas in the world, then she became a big fan, and now she really wants a koala. She wants her walla, man. Anyways, let's see. Where's the floor at? Where's that floor? Trending down. No, bad. Anyways, this one's pretty damn new. I don't think you can make too much out of this just yet, but this is really interesting to look at. And the funny thing is that you can find more in-depth analysis on these NFTs from a fundamental perspective than you can even on, you know, regular Bitcoin price action charts, which I think is kind of cool, actually. It looks like more and more unique wallets, or actually no, less unique wallets from yesterday to today own these wallets, but it is rising up like the Phoenix as well. So very interesting stuff, actually. Very interesting stuff, although volume is getting killed. Is this the top? I think it's the top. We're fucked. NFTs are fucked, sirs. NFTs are fucked. Maybe not. Anyways, I'll get back to it over here. Pretty interesting stuff, though. You know, pretty interesting stuff. And like I can definitely see that NFTs. You know, NFTs probably are here to stay, at least in my opinion. They're probably here to stay. Okay, cool. Where did I leave off right now? Where is it? There he is. He who. What's up, man? TLM. Okay. 4 hour daily. Not familiar with, or am I familiar with this one? I don't know. It doesn't sound too familiar though. TLM. All right. Okay. Let's see what this one looks like. Actually, not bad on a 4 hour. This one breaking out. Hey, not bad. Actually, pretty interesting. So here we have the first chart that looks, you know, mostly different than other things that we've seen today. Yeah, fresh breakout out of the daily range right here. Apparently, I have looked at this one before. Daily RSI supports, daily Joule supports, and daily volatility is starting to rise, although it's a little bit too young to really make much out of that. Look, I'm bullish on this one as long as you're above about 34.5 cents. I'd be looking for this one to continue on with its general rally somewhere around. I mean, short term would be looking at about 45 to 46 cent, but I'd really like to look at a move towards this blue box territory right here. That would be the one. Weekly, again, pretty young in its life to really be doing any like sort of long term analysis on it, but okay. Not really any real reason to be bearish on this thing. Again, as long as you're above about 34.5 cent right now, I guess good. Even the 4 hour Joule supporting another continuation of this short term upside move. So. Yeah, not bad. Actually, a very interesting chart. Thank you for bringing that one up. In fact, that's one of like the big values for myself. It's seeing all these unique and exotic charts that I typically wouldn't look at myself. I'm just not aware of them realistically, and you kind of get a general, you know, breadth of the overall market health as you expect most things kind of be moving with each other. I'm gonna take a sippy sip of this water, man. I'm damn thirsty right now. Holy shit. Elsa wants her walla. That's right, Moon Raccoon. By the way, that's a great name. MicroStrategy, daily, weekly, monthly. Sure. This would actually be a really good one to be looking at the monthly, as we expect this one to be somewhat in line with Bitcoin, right? Daily still ranging. Had a chance to break out actually early August, did not take it. Still in an uptrend though. Still overall good on the daily right here. Volatility on the floors right now. Certainly wouldn't mind a move down to the 3H, what is this, 382 right there, which is also in line with the daily 55. I'll just look at that as another higher low. See what the weekly and monthly look like. This is where the action's going on. Weekly, fine. Weekly actually still looks good to me. Nothing to be bearish about as long as you're above last week low, which is 641. Below 641, you actually do have a nice trade all the way down to about 525, probably in September. Of course, not financial advice. And monthly, I think the monthly is the most obvious one right here too. Okay, so the monthly is very compelling actually. Any sort of a closure, basically, especially above $800, that'd look phenomenal. But even a monthly closure above, what would this be right here? About 770. I would be looking for this one to probably retest around all-time highs, maybe September, maybe October. Maybe even make another run towards new all-time highs into end of year. But again, once traditional markets do correct, this one will correct with it. For right now, though, still actually pretty good. I think the biweekly just closed as well. Hidden bullish evidence right there. Backfill and up. So far, so good. I don't really have any major issues with this one, man. You know, actually does kind of make me a little bit more optimistic on Bitcoin, I suppose, as well. Again, assuming that it does essentially remain above last week's low, which is, let's just say 650 for easiness of conversation. Below there, that's when I start to look for deeper retracements down to like 520 to 525. But for right now, you know, I still go with this trend, and trend is your friend right now. So looking okay. Aaron Depp, what's up, man? Thank you for pushing me to take Xanax. Wait, what? Sir, I do not support these decisions, sir. Sorry, man. I just one of my friends from college used to take that shit, and oh my god, one of the funny things that he'd do is like he'd give it to all of our friend group, and then we'd be like, he'd like want to hang out with us, so he'd give it to all of our friend group, and then we'd just like be stuck in his room. But like, I mean, like we liked him obviously, but it's fucking funny. I don't know. Maybe that sounds weird coming out of my mouth now. Anyways, you are saying what? Okay. Thank you for pushing me to take the Xanax. No, bull trap while I'm balls deep into NFTs. The blue buy signal has me sweat a little less, but well, I mean the blue. Okay, so when we're talking about the blue buy signal, that the reason why it's important is because it comes with some implications, and more importantly, there is a way to invalidate it. More importantly, and we'd invalidate it very obviously by, I mean, in my opinion, coming back down below about $42,000. But if you want to go by the book, you'd be looking at this, the daily low prior to the blue buy signal. That's what invalidates it, because we have only seen one iteration out of, I believe, 16 or 17 now that have actually come down below the prior one, and that was, you know, for what it's worth, Black Swan event in March 2020. So looking at this right here, that'd be 38,300 or so. And like I said, on average you see about a 7% rise from that low to the next low. And that would put us, 7% in this case. Yeah, so that would put us at around about just above $41,000. So anywhere down to there, I think is, you know, generally speaking, okay. Or at least you can still kind of be running with that thesis, or at least I would be comfortable with that. But, well, I mean, if you start to close below $42,000, it would look pretty damn bad to me. But yeah, you know, again, it gives you an invalidation point. That's why those sorts of things are important, not because they're 100% guaranteed to work out. I mean, it's also not a 100% indicator to begin with, not that anything is, but we did see one iteration, again, out of 16 that did not work out in that fashion. The Saturn Epoch, what's up, man? Rose, USD, daily and midterm. Okay. All right. Rose, USD. What could this be? What could this be? Daily? Okay, again, where's your last higher low? 9.6 cent. Do you have a golden cross in line here as well? Could probably even use yesterday's low as a bit of a backstop on this one. 4 hour follows the uptrend. Yeah, 9.5 cent is where I'd be looking on this one. Does correlate with the last few lows, and also 200 simple and 200 exponential average right here. Sideways above there is good for the boo laws, but I do suspect that you probably test some downside from this current region, and breakouts would actually be above your 29th of August high. So yesterday, Sunday, that is, high. And in that case, I actually would be looking for continuation, very likely all the way up to here from your May breakdown regions. Also your wick highs right here, short term, that'd be 12.35, and probably does trade higher after that over time. Weekly, how did this one close? Not great. Not super powerful right there. 5-day also not super powerful. Here's the thing though, and you can really see that on these timeframes right here, things can actually get pretty damn nasty, because if you do confirm this is a local high, which you will, if you do come back down below those regions that we spoke about, even on the short-term timeframes, you will have massive hidden bearish between this point on this high right here and this point right here, which this was a massively higher high, to be fair. So at that point, you know, I'd probably be looking for September to come all the way down to like 7 cent or so. And in fact, we need to go to Bitcoin now and see if this is present there as well. So do we have the same sort of signature here? Well, it would be this point right here versus the point right here. No, we do not actually. Is it present on CME? No, it is not present on CME. Is it present on Ethereum? Actually, no, it's not. There's not even potential for that on Ethereum. So interesting. That is bizarre, but I would go with the majors over the minors in this case. We just don't see it there, even on, of course, CME as well. What's up, Mr. Legend LEZs? Sir, good sir. That is I. Hello, Mr. Ali. Forward on 22-minute daily. Wait, 22-minute? Okay. Can we just look at a 30-minute? Symbol F. All right, here we go. You're looking at a very low term time frame, like a 30-minute, which is actually not a low term time frame in traditional marks. This one's actually quite nice. I can't make too much out of this, honestly. If anything, I'd probably be looking for a gap fill right here up to like 1340 to 1350 or so, and probably down from there short term. But if you're looking at a daily, this one becomes a lot more obvious. Would like to see this one trade above Friday high. If that happens, I would be looking for a move to 13. I'd really be looking for a move to like 1360 or so, wherever the 55 is on this time frame. We do have a bit of an uptrend going on right here for the macro. It looks like on the weekly aspect. Yep, we do. Do we have hidden bullish evidence that we would expect between this point and this point? It is possible. How would you confirm this as a local low? Well, we need to pop back up and preferably close the daily above about 1350 or so, and then I'd be looking for September to work its way back up to like 1450, maybe even all the way up to $15. See what the monthly looks like. Not great. Definitely not great. This would be a macro lower high if it does turn around from here, and we would have humongous hidden bearish divergence between this high and this high right here, that being this high over here and this high right here. And I am a little bit more inclined to say that this one probably is poised for the downside long term, just based off of momentum oscillators like this. Let's look at the quarterly here. Here's what this one looks like. Quarterlies are back filling up. Okay, what about bi-monthly? The bi-monthly does close tomorrow as well. Okay, but do we have that same sort of hidden bearish divergence? Yeah, we do. Possible here. So needs to move up pretty much from this point. But yeah, you do see some phantom divergence coming in on the daily right there. So I would be looking for next move up 1350 to 1360 or so. Daily Jewel also supports that as well. Then I want to see where the daily close starts to close above there. Okay, we extend targets a bit more towards $14.5 to $15, maybe into September. But for right now, I think it's okay. But if this thing really starts to turn around, Mr. Ali, and turning around would be anywhere below like 1250. This is going to look really fucking bad because it's going to be a monthly and bi-monthly macro lower high. And I'd be looking for this one into like, 2022 to come all the way down to like $8.50 and get absolutely smashed again. But, for right now, I give it the benefit of the doubt, I suppose. Although this does not look good long term. Do not like the stock long term. But fair enough, the short-term time frames are a fair bit different and do offer up a little bit of hopium right there. So I suppose all good. Unfortunately, I can't make too much out of the 22-minute right there. Raggio88 says, Sir Krown, what's up, man? Hope you're great as well, man. I got a good night's sleep last night, so everything's all good in the hood. Also have some beef ribeye ready for me later, so I'm very happy about that. FTM USD 4-hour daily, sir, up and away. Let's check it out. We'll see. Yeah, let's see. Hopefully we see a different altcoin chart here. Phantom, we could probably record this one too. This one's somewhat popular, right? Yeah, massively different chart. This is very interesting right here. Thank you for bringing this one up. This is why I love these streams, man. Okay, here we go. Here we have Phantom symbol FTM versus the dollar being requested by Mr. Raggio88. He's looking at a 4-hour and daily, and the things that stand out to me on this one is that first and foremost, it's making a move, whereas most things are ranging right now. Long term, it has just a generic nice uptrend. It's pretty damn good right here, actually. Definitely does stand out as one of the more strong ones that we've looked at today specifically. Short term, however, it looks like a little bit of a pullback right here. Yep, we do see a nice shooting star dildo on volume thus far. I don't look at this as too concerning for the general trend right here, but does it provide a bit of a short term pullback? Probably yes, and we can do a bit of a bullish tracement right here. I'd say anywhere around the 0.5 to 382 is where I'd be looking towards short term at around. That's going to be between about 56 to 60 cents or so. And if it does bounce around there, that would just be your next higher low on this one specifically. Momentum oscillators, again, getting way the fuck up there on 4-hour RSI. But to be fair, while it very likely does pull back from there, I don't see any divergences just yet. 4-hour BBWP, red line right here. So again, short-term pullback, very likely. But 4-hour Jewel does suggest that we probably do have one more move to the upside from this region, maybe later this week, that is. Looking at a daily, again, all major movement averages are bullish. Hidden bullish divergence come off that last low right there. I would argue that's certainly already played out. It would have hit all of my aggressive targets already anyways. So short-term pullback, again, anywhere around 58 to 60 cents is fair game right there. But as long as you don't, especially as long as this one's not closing back down below about 54 cents, I do look for it to trade a little bit sideways, put another short-term consolidation, and then very likely continue on to probably your prior all-time high in this case, about 93 cents, maybe into September. You do see that this is coming on increasing volatility. So you got momentum right here, you got trend, and then you got volatility. That's really all that I need to see right there. I am curious though. What would be needed in order to make this one, or in order to look at this one, is very likely to trade up from this exact moment right here, or not this exact moment, but this week. Daily will actually remain with this upside curvature with any sort of a closure above 61 cent. That would look pretty damn good. 4-hour, crossing down right now, 68 cent is the magical number. So again, short term, a little bit of sideways and down. Then I would like to see the daily close above that region. If that happens, I would look for a continuation first before a sideways consolidation. If that condition is not met, then sideways consolidation first, perhaps down to like the mid 50s or so, and then look for a resolution probably into September. Speaking of September, how are we looking like on the monthly? Very good right here. Any sort of a closure above 50 cent is going to look very good in my opinion coming into September specifically. Monthly Stokes will also be up as well above 46, and we will see that this is just another monthly higher low. And testing around your prior highs is usually not the way that you get your highs, to be fair. Maybe just short-term pullbacks, but overall pretty damn good, especially coming into the end of September. But I need to see that September closure, and then we can judge some more upside targets on an actual breakout. Like let's just presume that that's going to happen. I'm not saying that that is going to happen, but if it were to happen, you'd see a short-term target of about $1.20, and then long-term, maybe in the end of year, looking at $3 to $4 perhaps. But again, we're well and far away from that. Need to see a monthly flirt first. And hey, where did I get very bearish on this one? Below about 44 cent or so. Even let's just say below 45 cent. Below 45 cent, very fucking bad for right now. You know, it's pretty damn far away. So all good in the hood, and 12-hour is, it looks like continuation here as well. So I'm actually starting to lean a little bit more towards short-term continuation first after maybe like an hourly pullback. So hopefully that was helpful, and there you go. Nice one, man. Very interesting chart right there. What's up, TS man? TS man. Female to male. Hello, sir. Can you please take a look at I actually have a lot of respect for that, by the way. I don't have the confidence to do that myself. There you go. All right. That makes it all good. Cody, USD, daily, weekly, please. Sure. FYI, I was listed on Coinbase last Friday. Well, that's not going to be fair. Oh, okay. So hold on. There's probably like another chart. Yeah, here we go. We can do Binance. Okay, so it had the listing pump, which is always a good fundamental reason to pump, right? You typically don't sell for that, right? Short term, it does look a little more downside angle, but let's see what the 4-hour says. Yeah, okay. You're looking at a daily and weekly, but I do need to see the short-term timeframes right here. I suppose as long as this thing's above 29 cent, fine. And if you are playing the short-term trend, you're looking at very likely a higher low somewhere around 34 cent or so. But if you're specifically asking about a daily and weekly, let's go to the weekly first. Weekly pretty good. Wouldn't mind a move down to 31 cent, but I'd be looking for a bounce there actually. If the short-term time frame range does break, we have that potential hidden bearish divergence. No, we do not. Okay, another chart that's actually relatively strong. So again, massive thank you for bringing this up. This is, you know, different. I mean, it's definitely different. Yes. Anyways, here's how the monthly is looking like right now. Any sort of a monthly close, essentially above 30 cents, is going to look very good to me coming into September. 5-day backfill right around that same area. Very interesting. Other than that though, I don't really have much to make out of this, to be honest with you. We can maybe try it over here and see what it's looking like. Maybe there's something more obvious on this chart. I'm not seeing anything too obvious on this one just yet. Here'd be your obvious continuation to new all-time highs. Any sort of a monthly closure above 38 cent. Again, tomorrow 8 p.m. Eastern time, that looked very, very good. Weekly, topside Toronto band currently 42 cent. See if that aligns with any of the ranges. 4-hour, or sorry, daily right here. Again, kind of, okay, so if we're looking at this within the context of the 4-hour time frame, this one actually makes the most sense right now. What does that essentially imply? As long as you are above that 33.5 to 34 cent pivot right here, I do look for this one to trade a bit sideways and up. We do see that BBWP is trending down right here. I'd like to see this one consolidate a little bit more, but if you can hold that region about 33.5 cent or so, or 34 cent, I would be looking at sideways as, you know, pretty damn good for the Bulas right here. Anywhere between that area and here is your nice little consolidation range. And then above 40 cent obviously bleeds on into the daily, weekly, and monthly, which sets it up for September to very likely test new all-time highs. You know, again, another chart that really stands out as different amongst other things. And the bi-weekly had a phenomenal closure right here as well. Even a closure, I believe, above its May breakdown region. Yes, that was 16.2. This one, wait, hold on, that's not right. I need to look it open. 36.27, okay, versus 36.30, ever so slightly higher. I wouldn't necessarily call that a higher close, but I do think that this one actually looks decent enough here. It actually is a little more upside angled. Again, another altcoin that looks genuinely different. Major thank you for bringing that one up. Charles G, what's up, man? HNT, USD, 4-hour daily, weekly. Sure, man. All right. HNT, what is one again? Helium. Another chart that looks massively different. Made new highs at the end of last week. Let's check this one out on a weekly specifically. A little bit of a doji doodle right there, but that's okay for right now. Don't really have any issues with this one long term as long as it's above last week low, which is 1940. Daily says what? Daily ranging. Okay, the daily is the obvious one right here. You got highs right here. We can move with the lows from last week. It's just going to be in line with the last wick low from the 27th of August, or on a closing basis below $20 and 42 cents. Below there, I would start to switch on to medium term bearish down to about 17 and a quarter, maybe lower over time. But for right now, short term down, probably test this region at 20 and a half. Want to see a bounce there if it can trade sideways throughout this range, which again, short term, very likely to trade to the downside. Hidden bearish evidence right there. 4-hour jewel down. Yeah, short term very likely does come down, but as long as you do see bounces around this region, and as long as it doesn't take out the last low at about 19 and 3/4 or $20 or so, I do look at this one as sideways overall good for a monthly closure, which would be on the all-time highs. It's just not fucking bearish when you look at something like this. Again, I like any sort of a closure here or higher by tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'd be looking for very likely a retest or maybe even new all-time highs in September, very likely October, however. Pretty damn good right there. Thank you for bringing that one up, sir. Green Third Eye, what's up, man? Mana on the daily and weekly. Okay, is this Decentraland? This is Decentraland. Bing Bong. Oh my god. Is that would you put your money on Bing Bong exchange? Bing Bong. Do you want your fucking Bing Bong? It goes alongside, I bet they list Dink Doink there too. Great name for a highly esteemed cryptocurrency. Like, what should I put all my money in? I have $100 million in life savings. Bing Bong exchange, trading the fucking Dink Doink. The fuck? It's like, who comes up with these goddamn... It's like the more ridiculous the name, the better it is, maybe. No, that's racist, sir.
Oh, the Bing-a-Bong exchange.
No. Look, there's nothing racist about that, because if it was, then this is racist too. Oi! Have you heard of the Bing Bong exchange? Yeah, they list the fucking Dink Donk chart. Great chart indeed, mate. Why is that not racist? But
oh, the Bing-a-Bong chart. Very good. And the Bing-a-Bong wrist dink doink. Very bullish.
All right. Finish one. I can't do a finish one for that one. What did that guy sound like? What did that guy sound like over the weekend? It sounds like Bruno. On the daily and weekly. Okay, no problem. Daily, a little bit of a short-term rejection, but this is a breakout right here. All major moving efforts are bullish. I don't think that this is a rejection. I think this is a short-term pullback. In my opinion, yes, you did kind of sell off this region right here. That is to be expected. I would be looking at 95 cent as the major area for this one, and I'm happy to be bullish above there with just a bit of a short-term range, most likely. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, actually, exactly. As long as this one's above 95 cent sideways after a bit of a pullback here is very likely good long term. Weekly, again, another chart that just looks significantly different than most things in this market. Very impressive. Monthly, any sort of a closure here or higher, gonna look really fucking good into September. Let's see, you're looking at daily and weekly. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this one. Just as long as you're above 95 cent, I would not be bearish on this one. Below 95 cent, yeah, I'd be looking at moves down to 82, maybe even 80 cent even. But for right now, momentum oscillators freshly bullish, back in the bullish control zone right here. Good daily BBWP is expanding on an actual breakout right here. Daily jewel also as well. Again, trend, volatility, momentum. A good one. I mean, this one's just nice and simple, but good. I don't really have general like long-term targets. Well, I mean, I guess we could kind of come up with some right here, but we haven't really got the breakout just yet. So I think that'd be inappropriate to do, but it is decent. Your weekly V games. What's up, man? I don't have any hourly or 4-hour targets. We actually looked at that one earlier, and I will upload a video on it a little bit later today as well to kind of rehash it. So in the interest of, I think, the community here, I think either you can, well, you can just briefly go over it, I guess. 4 hours not too fucking hard, is it? Let's see, where's the 4 hour right here? Short-term range, short-term downside, be looking at like 110. There you go. What's up, Mad Catter? What's up, Mr. Mad Catter? I love your ride at Disneyland. Gamestop, please, sir, this week and next. Okay. So like a weekly and a bi-weekly, is that what that means? I don't know. Okay, so we did identify this one as prepared for a bounce this past week. We did get it. I'd be looking for continuation on this bounce. Where'd continuation targets be? Anywhere around about 235 to 240 or so. Still bearish on this one long term, but this one's going to take its time, as you do know. Monthly. Okay, I would switch my mind around on this one, however. If something very specific happens by September open, if you see a closure tomorrow after hours above about, what is this, 230? Yeah, about 235. I actually would, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually would get bullish on this thing for September to retest 350 highs. Holy shit. It'd look pretty damn good, but I'm inclined to say that probably doesn't happen. But hey, fair enough. You know, that'd be my criteria for that. And short term, there's actually some decent amount of upside signatures right here. This actually might happen. Any sort of a weekly closure above 250 is going to look phenomenally good. And yeah, short term, I do think that this one will test higher, somewhere around about 235 to 240 or so. Jonathan K, hello sir. What's up, man? Phantom, short term, medium term. We just looked at that one, so I think I'm getting this one a little bit later. That's also another video I'm going to upload later as well. Just looking at short term though. Short term, a little bit of sideways, a little bit of down, but overall good as long as above, I think it was 58 cents. Hot Pocket, what's up, man? Hurricane Ida looking to cause mass power outages. How does GNRC look? Expecting targets above 500 by October. Okay. GNRC, what is this? Generac Holdings. Like learning my English. Generac. Anyways, all right, expecting targets above 500 by October. Well, in that case, we need to look at a high-term time frame. Let's see. Yeah, this is looking pretty damn good right here. Yeah, this is continuation. This one's probably going to make, at the very least, test all-time highs this week and maybe make new all-time highs this week. Any sort of a closure above 450 on the monthly, and I don't know if I'd like directly target $600 after that, but I'd be looking, 500 plus and just take it one step at a time. This one's getting pretty hot here, no doubt about that, but I think it's got maybe one more blow off to go. And does that happen around $600? Maybe, but I wouldn't feel comfortable just blindly saying that target. I need to see it supported by something else, and maybe we can look at something like this right here. I'd say 500 to 525 is where I'd be looking first. 600 is still kind of way out there, and I don't think it'd be too wise to be looking at that just yet, but I'm not saying that it can't get there. It's just, one thing before the next, and it does look pretty good there, to be fair. It does look very good, actually. ARC, or Mr. Ark, says, can you explain a professional gap and a professional breakout? Hope your day goes well. Thanks, man. I hope your day goes well as well. It's actually pretty simple, man. So here's a great example of one right here, actually. Not so long ago, you might even remember this one. I'm sure the bear odds do, and the bull odds do as well. And that would be this area right here. So when you have a professional breakout, what does it essentially mean? It essentially means that you come into an apex around the closure of a day. So in this case right here, we're looking at one of the very few fucking times I'll ever put a goddamn wedge on my chart, but it was a wedge in this case. And when you see something like that, and then the breakout happens in aftermarket hours, in this case, a big leg up above resistance on a closing basis as well, that is professional breakout professional gap. And those typically don't get retested, or at least it's not that they typically don't get retested, that they are the ones that are most likely to not get retested, or at least if they are going to get retested, it's going to be like not that close to it. So that would be an example right there. Or this area right here, right? You had a nice, you could call this many different things right here. If you just want to go off a horizontal, see a nice little horizontal area of support. And then what happens? Bitcoin breaks down. I believe this one was aftermarket hours as well, obviously. And, Bitcoin hasn't retested it for 3 months after that, right? Into August. That would be another example as well. And this one obviously did get retested. The reaction was rather anemic on the sell-off from that region. But yeah, fair enough. That's really all that there is to it. It's just one of the breakouts that actually holds. Oops, let me put this back on right here. And we'll go back on over here. Chad Ma, Cardano hourly 4-up. Man, no one's asked about Cardano yet. Yeah, let's go check it out. How's Cardano doing? I think it even made a new all-time high over the weekend. It did. Hey, not bad. Let's record this one. Alrighty, so here we have Carderpo versus the dollar, symbol ADA. We're looking at an hourly and 4-hour. We'll actually do a general overview of this one. We did hit our upside targets from the, weekend's end, Thursday, Friday. Looking pretty damn good right there. And it looks like I have not plotted any more since. So let's see. You are with these emojis in a friendly way. Nice one, man. I like your emoticon game over there. Anyways, okay, so what do we have on the short-term time frames first and foremost? We have a bit of a range going on right now. I do look at it as something like this. You can can see that this one's, if it is going to turn out to be bullish, it's probably going to do something like this, you know, create some higher lows within the structure. That would imply short term probably does come down somewhere around about 267, 267 and a half. But as long as it does hold the higher lows, which just needs to, you know, not come down below about 252 right here, I do look at this as a nice and healthy sideways consolidation. Volume signature supports this, or volume signature right here supports this. Volatility probably supports it as well. Oh, what do you know? Coming all the way down right there. Beautiful. And 4-hour RSI. While short term, it is a little bit on the downside angle. This is more or less neutral as far as the more long term goes, I suspect. Looking at a daily right here, I mean, pretty damn good setup, actually. Again, I wouldn't mind another test down around here. I just don't want to see a break below 250. And then I'll probably be looking for a beautiful close coming into September open. Sorry, beautiful. Yes, that's what I mean. Hold on. Let's go look at it on the monthly specifically, because this one is trending right here. Where is my Cardano? There it is. There you are, Derpo. Looking good. Weekly, still trending above all. Still trending above the top side Toronto band, and actually did have a beautiful close above there last week. So here's what I'd say about this one. You have actually a very, very easy setup on this one. As long as you're trending above the top side Toronto band, I look for that to continue. You saw the same thing over here all the way from December 2020, which didn't get faded until February 2021. On this astronomical move, and you've seen this a couple times on this asset right here, 773%, by the way. Actually, no, just a few times right there. Anyways, more importantly, it did just get a fresh closure above the last 1, 2, 3 weeks so far. We're actually testing around the top side Toronto band right now. So anywhere down to like 270 is completely fine. In this case right here, the weekly would have problems below 245. Then I would look for bigger retracements down to about 220 to 215 region. But for right now, the monthly is probably setting up for a beautiful closure. In fact, it is. And what's the monthly looking like? Well, it's not just possibly going to close on the all-time highs with any sort of closure above 250. It would also be trending above the top side Toronto band as well, which the top side is coming in actually at that 220 target to the downside on an actual break. But for right now, if this does get confirmed, again, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, I would be looking further north before any sort of a general massive pullback. Can we come up with some targets for this one? Yes, I believe we can actually. You have a pretty obvious range going on right here now, don't you? Something like this, of which you are actually, yeah, you're just kind of topping out short term at the 2618 right there. That's okay, that's fine. This would imply though, if that monthly closure scenario is met, I would be looking for this one to make leg ups towards, you know, $3.5, maybe even $4 into maybe September, more than likely October in this case. Look pretty damn good. It looked very, very good right here. So with that in mind, again, where does the short term time frames break down? Below about 250. And below 250, I would look for a move to 220 to 215. But until that happens, I just look at short-term sideways as more or less fine, more or less ranging, and no major issues right there. But the areas for changing around are, you know, very well documented, as is Bitcoin. And so that is what I would say about that. Hopefully that was helpful. There we go. Bitcoin coming down to our 47 or so target. Let's see, can we get it? Are you going to do it, you gigantic piece of highly esteemed technology? You maybe. Kendall Hearn says, H-bar, please. Okay, there are no time frames given, so I'm just going to look at the daily. Let's just see what we can find over here. 4 hour down, looking at a short-term move, probably somewhere down around about 24 cents or so. Daily, same thing. Needs to bounce at 24 cents, otherwise you do lose your higher lows. If that happens, I'd be looking for an extension down to about 22 to 21 cents or so. Until that happens, though, sideways is more or less good for the boolas, and you still got those higher lows, and you even have a bit of an ascending trunk right here as well. So bounce around there does set it up for a move, probably somewhere around about 30 cents into September, if that, as long as that area does hold. Sprocket. Greetings, just regular, sir, today. Not to question your excellence, dude. You're 100% free to say whatever you want to say, man. But regarding the September FUD, I saw some charts showing it's historically correlated. Look, correlation, in my opinion, is mostly bullshit, and I know that's going to be an incendiary statement. But look, just fucking just listen to Nassim Taleb on that one, and I'll let him explain, because he'll do it way better than me. And honestly, when you look at something like that, it just, where do you manage risk on a statement like that? That would be my question back to you. That's why I don't believe it's very useful. Anyways, you're saying, okay, it's historically correlated. All right, well, let's run with that assumption, and let's just give this its due diligence, right? If so, how would this be different than cough the moon chart? Well, I mean, again, the moon chart is not something that I really care about to begin with as well, but the moon chart actually has consistent results over years, which actually literally call tops and bottoms, and you can more importantly have invalidation points for that. Whereas if you say that September bad, like if that's just the thesis as far as trading goes, where do you manage risk on that? Do you manage risk on like the high of August? I mean, has that worked out in the past? I don't know. I haven't back tested it. I mean, I don't really care about a statement like that, to be honest with you. But if I'm giving it its due diligence as it, as it should be, I mean, we shouldn't just like shit on fucking ideas without exploring them a little bit first. In this case, it's just like how would you trade that is the real question. Like this is what I believe a lot of the people who perpetuate these sort of things, don't like include, and it kind of shows that they probably don't trade because they don't have a setup. There is no sort of edge without a setup. You can't have a fucking edge without a setup. They are one and the same. And so you need to have an invalidation point, an entry point, and an exit point. Can you base that off of, September bad thesis? I have not been able to reproduce that myself. So for what it's worth, you could also, I mean, let's see, what does September do in like this area over here? Okay, well, I just picked out a random September in 2016. I don't know, looked like a sideways consolidation to me, slightly green on the month. I'd have to say, okay, so I just picked out a random one right there and that didn't work. September over here, green again, sideways on a consolidation. I have to say, so far 0 for 2, not very good. Have you backtested this yourself? Over here, September 2013, again sideways, green. I'd have to say it's kind of from what I can see right now, it looks mostly bullshit to me. September 2012, oh, red, but it was just sideways. I don't really see like a major drop off right there, just sideways. Let's see, can we find one good iteration here? Yeah, here we go, September 2011. So we got 1 for 4. I mean, I don't know about you, but for myself, that would not be like good enough. And like, where are you going to manage risk on this? If you just short into September, okay, so maybe you use August highs. Okay, well, your risk is potentially, in this case, 100%. That seems like a really good strategy. Yeah. Should we leave it there? This one's red. No, but obviously, this one again sideways there, and even did have an upside resolution. I'd have to say I respectfully do not see it myself. I respectfully do not see it myself. Maybe if you're just like looking at like the last couple Septembers, I don't know. Is this down to you? I mean, this is just a retest of major movement averages on a bullish trend. I don't see it right now. I don't see it. Again, with full respect, we're just talking about ideas here, not about you as a person or anyone as a person for that matter. First off, it's like, like two, I would say that there's one good iteration on there where like it actually dumped off. The other ones were all just consolidations or green months for that matter. And so it's like 1 for 8. I don't know. Don't think so. Soji says, sushi 4-hour daily weekly. Sure, man. Peace and hugs to you as well, sir. Let me just see how many videos I've recorded today. Maybe I've already done too many. It's 30th, 1, 2, 3, or whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, we could do sushi swamp. My sushis. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I haven't even looked at that September thing to begin with. It's like now I just now I think even less of the people who just fucking parrot that bullshit. Like, what the fuck, man? You haven't even looked at it yourself. And I'm not saying this to you, but I'm just thinking of like some specific people who I just incessantly keep on seeing them say that. It's just like, have you even backed this yourself, or did you just like find something that you? This is what I suspect happens. Like people find something that they agree with, and then they just parrot it without understanding. That's honestly really awful. Anyway, sushi, actually the first shitty chart that we've looked at today. I would be looking out for a bounce off the 55 right here, but this is not looking too hot. 10.5. What about a 4-hour? Yeah, I do think it's going to bounce pretty much right around here, yes, but do not confuse bounce with the reversal. This is probably the worst looking chart that we've seen today. In fact, even the 4-hour says breakdown imminent. Hidden bearish divergence on that last rejective high right there. You're on the 200 simple. I'd say any sort of a break below the 200 simple in this case, I'd be looking for a nice little meltdown into early September. Does not look good on the weekly. Has the same massive hidden bearish no, it does not. Weekly, you can make an excuse for it as long as it's above 1060, but the second that this thing's closed below 1060, this thing's gonna cough up the whole goddamn rally down below $10, down to like $7.5 to $8. Until then, I would play this one with caution. Definitely not a strong one, definitely a weak one. Nothing bullish about it on the short-term time frames as long as you're below 12 and a quarter right there. Above 12 and a quarter, yeah, you can get a bit excited again. Probably plays with the rest of the market. But the first chart that we've seen, that's obviously a lot more downside angled. Cole Evans, what's up, man? We've already gone over Cardano today, and I'll actually put up a video on it a little bit later, so hopefully that's all good. Alex Ganger says, bruh, what's up, man? Bitcoin weekly RSI dropped from oversold under midline, then back up into underside of bull zone. Similar structure to 2019, 2014, 2011. Okay, so you're looking at something like this, I'm guessing. Okay, so you're saying what? Hold on, let's see. From oversold under midline, it's nowhere near oversold. That's nowhere near. Oversold would be below 30 if you even want to use it that way to begin with, which I would argue is a very terrible way to be using it. So the first implication of this is just not true from what I can see. Drop from oversold under midline. Okay, yes, it is under midline, but it's above midline as well. I'm not seeing what you're saying, man. Let's see. Let's read a little bit more. Maybe it'll make sense. Then back up into underside of bull zone. It's not in the bull zone either. I'd have to respectfully disagree with this again, man. I don't see. To be honest with you, I don't see what you're talking about. You'd have to show me a chart. If you're in the Discord, just tag me in a chart and maybe we can look at it then. But I'm sure whatever you're saying is probably makes sense. It's just I'm unable to make sense of it right now. So yeah, man, apologies for that. Anyways, Walker Home Solutions says, hello, sir. What's up, man? DEXE 4-hour daily, if you please. Okay. All right. DEXE, this thingy, I guess. Let's see. What do we have here? We have a very young coin in its life. You're looking at a 4-hour and a daily. Can barely populate a daily. 4-hour, a lot weaker. Does look like it wants to take a little bit of a dumpy to 1385, 1390 or so. Definitely not the strongest chart that we've seen today. Definitely more on the weak side, but the weekly is not bad. I would be looking for a bounce off of, okay, where exactly was that again? It should be about 13.5. Yeah, about 13.5 or so. Would be looking for a bounce there. Needs to bounce there. Otherwise, I don't really have a strong opinion on this one on the daily, to be fair. So I think a healthy amount of I don't know is the proper response on a daily, but the 4-hour would like to see a bounce at about 1360 or to 1350 or so. Otherwise, I would get massively bearish on this one. Other than that, though, I don't really have anything useful to say about this. Apologies on that, but I don't want to just talk directly out of my asshole on this one. Where would I get bullish on this one again? A little bit more difficult. This one's kind of sloppy. $17 would be my area for there. Until then, a bit of a range right here, and it is losing structure right now as well. Definitely not the best chart that we've seen today. QNT. Yeah, we can do Quant. We can do Quant for Mr. DJ Risky. All right, and this will be the last one. This is starting to get wrecked, and I am very hungry. KuCoin is the one that we go to for this one. We can also record this one as well. I think this one's fine. Okay, cool. Here we have Quant, symbol QNT versus the dollar, being requested by Mr. DJ Risky, and let's see what we got going on right here. Still one of the more interesting charts actually in cryptocurrency land. This kind of stands out, just generally going up over the series of time here. Short term, however, does look a little more downside angle. Let's see where this one is currently coming in around. Okay, if you are playing the 4, I mean, you are right on the 55 currently speaking, but daily does suggest that this one could come down a little bit lower and it wouldn't necessarily be problematic. I'd say about 177.5 or so. Would like to see a bounce right there. Where would I start to get skeptical of this one and maybe even bearish on this one? Below basically the 2-spot extension and also this area right here at about 167 or so on that breakout. Below there, bad. I'd look for general extensions all the way down to 150 to 140 over time. But for right now, the weekly, did close as a bit of a rejection right there. But to be fair, that can certainly happen with a lot of these altcoins, and it's just they're kind of a low liquidity and doesn't really mean all that much. But the monthly is what I'd be focusing on right here. The monthly is pretty damn good. It does have a massive range. Yes, this thing could come all the way down to like 150 in September and still be, at least in my opinion, okay. But this is all done on volume right here, and this is one of the better charts that we have seen just in general. As far as momentum oscillators go, I'm curious what we look at over here, and then we'll look at it on trending charts as well. Oops, this is not as helpful as the chart. Jesus, man, that is completely different. You can look at this one over here instead. Short term, a little bit of downside angled as long as we are below about 202. So yeah, I do suspect that it is short term pullback. I don't think that the 4-hour trend is going to hold. I do think that this one very likely comes down to like 178 to 180 or so, and then you probably see a bounce around there. I wouldn't necessarily be bearish on this one. Again, as long as you're above, I guess it's more like 177 and a half, we'll say. Let's look at it on the trending charts over here too, and see where we're at. All right, let's put on a weekly. Yeah, not giving me too much on this one. Again, it's the monthly that I'll be cognizant of right here. Any sort of a closure above like 177 and a half tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Still going to look very, very good coming into September. 5-day, still okay, just kind of chugging its way along. Daily, yeah, short term probably does come down around 177 and a half to 178 or so. As long as you don't break below there, though, I do look at this as just sideways and up, and it's really a setup for September, not necessarily this week, so to speak. Short term, though, yeah, a little more downside angle on this one. Some phantom bearish divergence right there. Daily jewel downside angled as well. This is coming on declining volatility, so I'd give it a chance to put in a higher low first, somewhere around like 177-ish region, and then judge it from there. Below 177, that's where the problems do start to occur. But right now, you know, all good, I suppose. And it's again big focus on the monthly closures here, and that can drive targets higher, which we'll get to maybe around early to middle of September. Once we actually see the monthly closure right here. But for right now, a little bit of short-term downside, and then watch those levels. So hopefully that was helpful there, sir. Nice one. Okay, all right. Joe Wells says, good morning, sir. What's up, man? LTO USD, 1 hour daily, 1 hour, 4 hour daily. Okay. 1 hour, okay. All right, let's see. Oh, wow. Ugly altcoin right here. Definitely a laggard, definitely weak, definitely not the most interesting chart that we've seen today. If you do want to be bullish, that is. The only way that I get bullish on this one is with a move above your 20th of August high, or especially a closure above about 31.35 or so. That would imply target, or it wouldn't necessarily imply targets because this one's just floppy as all hell, but I'd probably be looking for a general move somewhere around the 200 simple in this case. For right now, though, this is where your risk is 26 cent. Below there, very bad. Short term, very likely looks like it wants to test around 27 and a quarter. And if that starts to fail right there, I mean, this is going to start to look a lot more like distribution, which it already kind of does. But I would still kind of, you know, stick to my guns in this case. Anywhere below 26 cent, especially on a daily closure or 12-hour closure, I'd be very bearish on this one, looking for extensions down to like 20 to 22 cents or so, maybe lower over time as well. Weekly, very, very weak right here. This one, you know, needs a strong, broad market in order for it to move to the upside. This one is certainly weak and definitely not the most interesting chart that we've seen today. But hey, if you're bullish, you know, you still got this right here. And again, I wouldn't front run a reversal on this one, just like anything else, as long as you're above about 26 and a quarter or so. But can test down around there, certainly short term. So do be aware of your risk on this one. I imagine we probably have some hidden bearish evidence right here. I suspect that we do. Yes, we actually, no, we don't. Interesting. What about the 12-hour? 12 is actually fine. So fair enough. Ranges are rather set on this one, but sideways is probably best case scenario for Bulos right now. Hopefully that was helpful, sir. All right, cool. Total doesn't lead. Yeah, honestly, the total market cap is kind of a bullshit metric in my opinion. Look, we can look at it. We can look at total market cap, but I think that people who look at the market cap are, you know, it's okay for getting a general overview. But first off, you can't trade the fucking market cap, and second off, you know, the market cap can change rather drastically with pretty much very little happening. Do you understand how market cap is calculated? I used to think that it was the liquid amount available in that asset. It's not. It's not even at all. It's just the supply multiplied by the last price. You can see that can be massively gamed. So I don't put too much weight on that, to be fair. You know, if you're just looking at total market cap, I wouldn't even make too much out of this. It's very similar setup to Bitcoin, to be fair. Did have more of a blow off top right here, but again, you can expect that when you include like all the shit coins, you know, in that calculation. It's just not very helpful in my opinion. What's up, Edwin's Generation? All right, this is gonna be the last one, sir. The last of the last of the last of the fucking last, for the love of God, last. EGLD. What is this thingy? What is this thingy? Is this Elrond or is this Eagled? Eagled. What is this thing? Whatever it is, it's okay. It's okay. You know, as long as above about 135 and a quarter, I look at this as just another higher low. I expect that we got some hidden bullish evidence right here. Yes, we actually should. Actually, some massive one right there too. Very interesting on this one, actually. Any sort of a move back above your 26th of August high, I would look for a retest of the highs of this rally at about 165, 166, and probably general continuation here. Heavily bearish, however, if you do come back down below about 120 and a half or close a daily below about 130, that would look very, very bad for, you know, downside moves short term to like 110, and probably more long-term to like 93, 95. But for right now, I give it the benefit of the doubt, and this one doesn't look, it actually looks short-term pretty damn good right here. Another higher low, volume coming in on this one. Short-term, I'll be looking up 150 or so, and then look for those upside resolutions. Again, anywhere above your 26th of August high would look pretty damn good, or especially a daily closure above 150. For more long-term targets, back up around your 12th of May breakdown region, about 180 to 181. Alrighty, sir. I think that is it for myself today. The trend is your friend is the message of the day. There's your positive message of the day. Hope you didn't offend too many people on this very unprofessional and impromptu stream. We'll be back on tomorrow doing the same thing, same time, same place. Elsa is not waving in the background because she doesn't want to say goodbye to you. She doesn't even like you. Just kidding. She loves everyone here. As do I. Anyways, anything else that I want to say? I think that's it. I want to say a massive thank you for coming on in. Oh, there we go. We got some hands. Nice one. All right. With that said, take care. I salute you, and until next time.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it.